And 2v2 is underway. SK Gaming at the top of your screen and G2 at the bottom.
SK Gaming now coming in with, I think, a lot of expectations here. A lot of people have them pegged as one of the top teams to watch. But G2 as well, we are looking at two of the potentially strongest teams in CRL Europe here. This is the first time we're getting to see them play on the big stage. Both of these players have some crazy tricks up their sleeve.
Faye, of course, a fantastic player, has been rated at the top of the global ladders, but then you have Flavi, who got great tournament experience with wins over guys like Sergio Ramos and Pompeyo.
It's interesting here to see, these different players. We have a lot of players who, again, have really strong ladder performances, but then we also have those players with a lot more experience in traditional competitive formats. And so far, we're seeing that those people who have that competitive experience, they tend to come out on top.
A giant push to open from SK Gaming, shut down nicely with a fantastic mix, the E-Wiz and the Cannon Cart doing some work on the side of G2.
G2, of course, these guys, they're brothers. They've been playing games together their entire lives. That's the kind of synergy you can't fake, you can't replicate. That's not something you can come up with in a month. This is a lifetime of playing games together, and we're seeing it here. Let's see if that synergy can carry them to the win.
Giant pushes now from both sides of the board as we reach the midway point of regulation time.
We're coming on towards that double elixir time, where we're going to start to see, I feel like that's really where Faye's going to shine. He likes more of a slower reactive style. He's known for sort of those big late game 3M pushes, and we'll see how that plays in here in 2v2. However, speaking of 2v2, those are two golems.
Double golem push for SK Gaming. Now, so far, we've seen a lot of Night Witch behind the golems. This time going with Witch instead. The Inferno Dragon, though, still has so much it has to work against with that double golem push coming down the right-hand lane.
Those golems are chunking down the tower. Both towers actually are taking quite a bit of punishment here. The Cannon Cart doing such a good job of cleaning that up. Actually trading fairly evenly, all things considered. Really, it was the poison that pushed it over the edge for SK.
We are pretty much neck and neck as we go into double elixir time. Both teams under 800 on the right-hand side of the board.
Beautiful fireball coming in from SK, denying a lot of the units there for G2. What a beautiful positive elixir trade.
And now we have a lane switch coming from G2, forcing their opponents to defend on that side. I think they feel confident that their Rocket will be able to take down. Oh wait, Rocket's banned. So what's going on with that right-hand tower?
Interesting here. I think they maybe realize that, look, they can get that when they want to. They have the miner to chunk that down. They have the fireball. They will be able to get that down. They now need to start focusing on the other side. They're sacrificing or sacking that right-hand tower. They're realizing, look, it's going to go down no matter what we do. Let's, change things up. Let's focus on the left-hand side, because that's where the game is going to be won or lost.
As Paul said, now we see the tower trade. That was the idea. And interesting note here, G2 out on the front of the left-hand side, but taking some significant damage on their double king tower.
I mean, that's the thing here. Health is a resource. HP is a resource. They realize that, look, yeah, we're going to lose some damage on our king tower, but if we can get the damage onto their princess tower, that is going to be more valuable to us actually winning the game.
Cannon Cart leading the way for the golem on the left-hand side for G2, with the E-Wiz cleaning up some of those skeletons coming from the back with the Witch.
The lightning is there as well, not getting a ton of damage there. Obviously going to pick up a few of those units, but the Inferno Dragon not falling, and that was a key target there. That's finally going to go down, and not having that Inferno Dragon, that means this Golem's going to walk right on through.
That Inferno Dragon, though, did do some work early on. The log keeping the Golem off just a little bit longer. Really not getting that Inferno Dragon off the board seems to have a big effect here on the push for G2.
And interesting here, we're not really seeing any big clone plays coming out from both of these teams. We've seen clone being used so far in the 2v2 matchup. I feel like in some of these situations, clone can be doing a lot of work.
Not a card that's very valuable in the 1v1 meta, but here in 2v2 with so many cards on the board, it can do a ton of work.
It can indeed, especially when you look at these golems, when they split, all that splash damage going out. You can clone that, clone it again, keep going, clones on clones on clones. You can start to rack up the damage in a big way here. But both of these teams pretty much at a stalemate right now on the bridge, neither one able to find a crack in the opponent's armor.
We are halfway through sudden death overtime. Just 14-21 on the left-hand side for SK. Holding strong at 22-12 is G2.
When researching these teams, this was one of the matchups I was the most excited for, because it seemed like on paper this was going to be one of the most even, and we are seeing it here. Spain going up against Germany in this situation, and so far they're going very even.
The beatdown players trying to get through, but so far a bit of a stalemate here as we get to the final minute. but Inferno Dragon will get taken down by that tower. We have a bit of a reset as we enter the last 60 seconds.
I love the fact that neither one of these teams is trying to go for some sort of fancy play. They're not going to try and go for some crazy 3-crown. They're just playing the smart, playing it patient, playing it conservative. They're playing to win. That is what I expect to see at the highest level of professional play.
Well, big question at this point with so little time left and so much damage on the tower. Does SK consider to start thinking about the draw?
They have to start thinking about that now. I mean, we're going to see it. If 35 seconds left on the board, the Golems are pushing in there. Both of these towers are getting very low. Nice job defending, though, for G2, and SK as well, able to shut that down. We might actually go to our first draw here in the situation, so we'll see what happens as we end this out. Only 20 seconds left on the clock. The Dark Goblin and Baby Dragon are coming in, but the Cannon Card's going to be there to deny it. What a sick game.
Will we see a very fast spell cycle coming from G2 to close this thing out,
below?
or will they be able to keep this thing in a draw and send it to another match?
Wait, the fireball. Indeed, and we'll see what happens. The brothers staying calm, staying composed here as we get into this next game. Miner's coming out. It's just some initial poke. Certainly saw.
Miner doing some damage and some work on the left-hand tower. Things are all flipped now. You have G2 on the top of the board, SK on the bottom.
Now we see the Knight come in. Interesting. The Knight, not really a card we've traditionally seen here in 2v2.
Not a lot of 2v2 in the Knight, but it has been making a comeback in 1v1 since getting a damage buff in the last update.
It has indeed. The Cannon Card's actually going to be able to get... Oh, nice job. The Tesla Tower is there to shut that down. I thought that Cannon Card was actually going to get a lock on the tower there for a second. I'm like, wow, that's a great way to start the game if you're SK.
Very close. That Cannon Card, by some people saying it's the best card in the game right now.
Very likely so. I mean, changes they made to it, making it so strong in the current meta, but now we do see the push coming in from Faye and Sheer. The Bats are going to start to clean this up, but there's the Lightning as well, not taking down the Executioner. A total deck shift now coming out from SK. This is very interesting to watch. We have the Miner in the back, though, once again, the Pups not getting too much damage done. Oh, but look at that positioning on the Knight there as well, blocking for the Executioner.
Really a versatile card. That's its design. It can be a very small mini tank. It can do some DPS in the back. It can pick a lot of things up. And it can be a distraction at that cheap 3 cost.
That's actually... Both of these teams are running. We're actually seeing very similar decks from both teams right now, totally shifting things up, identifying where they sort of want to sit in this deck right now in terms of overall play style. They're realizing, hey, look, we both need to switch things up, but they kind of had this exact same thought. Interesting to see how this will progress with the European meta.
So far, SK doing a great job of picking up potential problems using that Knight. We've stopped the Inferno Dragon at the bridge. We've stopped the Cannon Card at the bridge. Great work.
Oh, yeah, and now we see the Flying Machine getting picked off immediately. The Flying Machine, the hero of that last game, getting those final shots there.
As we enter double elixir time, pretty much in a dead heat, the right-hand tower is untouched and only about 120 hit point difference on the left-hand side.
Do I expect to see the pace of the game start to change now that we have reached that double elixir time? Teams are going to get a little bit more aggressive with these pushes, going to start to drop a heck of a lot more out there right now and look to get that final win condition style push. The Lava Hound's going to be a key part of that.
We're starting to see some of the effect of Rocket being banned from this match. There's a tornado. You can follow up with a fireball, but without its best friend, the Rocket, a very different play.
Well, the Flying Machine actually locking there onto the tower, doing a lot of damage. A big lead right now for G2. The Miner is going in as well, trying to further knock this down. Beautiful positioning, though. This tower's going to survive just a little bit longer. Varying
the position of that Miner is so important, so you can't drop someone right on it. SK choosing to defend with range damage rather than right on its face.
Yes, indeed. You see, oh, interesting positioning there. We have, oh, they hit the top.
Set number 2 on its way. Will Matt01 get things back for SK Gaming, or can Canario close it out for G2?
G2 is going to take this in 2 sets, and they're going to try and do it in 4 games. SK needed to come back right now, make it happen if they want to take this on to
a Hunter in the back for SK. Miner goes out, a little bit of chip damage, but easily dealt with by those Royal Guards.
Already Miner poison being played here by Canario, pulling out a classic standard here, the tried and true.
And Hunter now behind the Giant at the river.
And back. Interesting. We had the P.E.K.K.A. though to shut this down. This P.E.K.K.A. positioning is awesome. I'm not even sure this Giant's going to get a hit.
Nope, Giant does not get on, but the Miner also doing his job in the back, taking the right-hand tower down to just about 1,800.
Nice push coming in there. That was exactly, I think, what Matt01 was looking for here. It's all about the chip. We are seeing the Bandit coming in now. The Hunter is going to get instantly, oh, actually, I should say, instantly shredding the Bandit.
No battle ram, remember that. So even though this deck looks a lot like that bridge spam, I doubt we're going to see the exact thing that you're used to.
That's sort of what it's looking like here. It's taking a classic meta deck and then putting your own spin on it, especially when decks are banned. It's how these pros adapt to these situations when cards that are used to playing or they want to play are removed, and how they make those adjustments on the fly to account for that.
Poison played by Canario. Interesting note, he has played Poison in nearly every competitive deck, especially at Clash with the Cube.
Yes, indeed. One of the things about Poison that's so amazing is the fact that it's so versatile. You can use it on offense, you can use it on defense, you can use it to take down things like pumps. It's a great summon for Fireball as well. It's a lot of versatility. That's a lot of the reason the pros like to use this card.
No Inferno Dragon, so much more difficult to deal with that P.E.K.K.A. You do have some kite options, but we have not yet seen an Ice Gold.
Look at the push coming in now, though, from Matt01, putting a lot of elixir down on the board. Getting a whole lot of value for it. I love the positioning on that E-Wiz. A lot of these top players are comfortable enough playing the E-Wiz back. They don't need to get as much value on the splash because they're just able to get maximum value on this trait, slowing down his other troops.
The right-hand tower for Matt down to 1294 as we are in double elixir time. Just about 250 more hit points on the right tower for Canario.
This is a very even match. Once again, SK and G2 are neck and neck right now. The Giant is coming in once again. Slight bit of elixir leak though for Matt01. We'll see if that comes back to bite him as the poison is coming down once again. I love the fact that it's getting value on these troops, but also getting value on the tower. 22 seconds left. The right-hand tower for Matt down under 1,000. And we see that final card. It is the Log. Log is coming in now as well. Still one being held back from Matt01. P.E.K.K.A. getting shut down, but trading beautifully here. Getting a ton of value in the Miner the whole time. Is just swinging away in the back. This tower is getting so low.
Miner Poison working out great so far for Canario. We are now in sudden death overtime.
A little bit more damage on that right-hand tower and 2 more poison cycles, and it will fall. So Matt01 needs to make something happen right now. But I love what's happening. It's forcing the defensive Miner to be used. You realize this is already... Well, Rich, we're going to find out because game number 2 is underway. Game number 2, set number 2. If G2 takes this, if Canario can make it happen, we will have seen a sweep of SK Gaming.
And there we see the Royal Hogs in the left lane with one of their strongest counters, the Valkyrie.
Valkyrie coming in. There's a reason, again, we see this card banned so often. And a beautiful hold now from Canario, which means this pump is just going to be getting more and more value. We have to watch for this. The return Hogs are coming out on the right side, and the Valkyrie's already been used. This could actually be huge right now. The Hunter is there. He's also a fairly good response. Hogs
from both sides. Canario showing early signs of Hog 3M, while Matt showing that really awesome challenge deck that was all over when they first got buffed, that Hog Hunter deck. Probably a cannon cart somewhere up his sleeve.
I wouldn't be surprised. Cannon cart looking so strong right now. The double pump getting chunked down there by that fireball, but just able to get down double pump at this stage of the game for Canario is absolutely massive. And look at the push that's coming in. The Hogs are there. The Ice Storm not going to do a whole lot other than distract those bats, but look at how much damage that tower is taking.
They can take you down so quickly. They're so fast. They get that first hit out before you can often do anything to counter, and now down to 1295 is the right tower of Matt.
This is big right now. Canario is controlling the tempo, controlling the pace, having just a little bit more elixir to work with has put Matt01 on the back step, and now things have roughly evened out. As I say that, another pump is being dropped there in the bottom right-hand corner, but now we actually see the 3M coming out here for Matt01, so interesting variations on roughly the same deck.
Yeah, Matt, really it looked for a second like it would be that classic Royal Hog Hunter cannon cart deck. A switch now, 3M being run on both sides of the board.
But now having that pump as well with this, of course, you know, a highly expensive card at 9 elixir 3M. When you use it, having that additional elixir in your pocket means that you can respond more aptly when the pressure comes your way. Once again, though, we're seeing the Hogs being split. This is an interesting decision considering that he hasn't really taken down this right-hand tower into what I would call like safe, secure, I'm going to get it range.
Well, knowing that his opponent has both the Valkyrie and Fireball, splitting the Hogs does force him to make choices rather than wipe them all out with one well-placed troop.
Absolutely true, Rich. I'm loving this heads-up play so far. Canario, though, is just looking so scary every single time those Hogs get dropped on the field. And you know what? I may have spoke too soon. That was absolutely guaranteeing he had enough damage to get that tower down. Canario is in such consummate control.
The pump making all the difference right now, giving Canario the elixir advantage and really helping him both on the offensive and defensive side of the board.
Right now, this is a really tough position for Matt01 to be in. If he doesn't make something happen in the next 10 seconds, that is going to be all she wrote. G2 looking so strong here in their CRL debut. Rich, that's going to be it.
And we are off. ALG, Allegiance on the bottom of your screen, and the Misfits at the top.
They are indeed. We are seeing Snowball being cycled through already, as well as Log, trying to find those key combo cards and get them in hand to start things off. And already we're seeing the Tombstone being dropped. I like this. I like having one of these structured cards in your deck to start things off. For one thing, it helps distract from those really big tanks like the Golem Ring pushing through, gives a little bit of pressure off of the towers.
Now, we were going to talk about why is Fireball banned, and I think you would probably mention that Fireball is a great option for going up against more mid-cost cards as opposed to the Rocket. So maybe trying to force your opponent to play a Rocket on cards and spend 2 extra elixir.
You're basically trying to bait them out with the Rocket. Yeah, that's really one of the big things here, because often we see Rocket paired up with things like the Fireball to take down these Princess Towers. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of Rockets. Those things stack up. They hurt to really just nuke down one of these towers. And of course, if both players are running it, that's something we often see here. But now we are seeing a push being mounted for Misfits here. A beautiful tornado to pull that back, though, and even in time to clean up that graveyard.
It looks like our EU teams have been watching the matches so far, seeing Giant Skeleton on both sides.
Yeah, we're actually seeing that Magic Archer getting a whole lot of value. I say cleaning up that graveyard, but the damage was done. Between the Magic Archer splashing onto that, between the graveyard there, that tower is down only 1,000 HP, but the counter push from ALG is oh so real.
I think that was a double Royal Hog drop, which, considering banning Fireball, now we might see a reason behind that.
Oh, there you go. I mean, they're able to just stack that up in one lane, feeling a little bit more confident. Obviously, the Valkyrie is going to be there. It is a fairly strong counter, but beautiful positioning on that, keeping that cannon card out of range.
You know what? Let me revisit that. It wasn't Allegiance that banned Fireball. It was Misfits, and here's a great taking advantage. Misfits knows Fireball, which is a perfect counter for Royal Hogs, off the board, and they do what I think was a double Hog drop in the left lane.
So now one of the things I really want to focus on here is the fact that we look at ALG. Both of these players comfortable speaking in French, they're communicating in French, whereas we look across the board and we have Spain and Italy. Is communication language going to be a factor here in this matchup? Something that Misfits is going to have to overcome.
Definitely a possibility, as the Giant Skeletons both doing work at the river, but neither Death Bomb doing a whole lot.
Yeah, both those bombs just sort of dropping there on the bridge, but look at how low these 2 towers on the left-hand side are getting. The cannon card, though, not going to be connecting. That was huge. That Valkyrie drop was massive. We are seeing the Zappies here as well, looking to just shut down this push. The Dark Goblin in the back. These Dark Goblins are so
Wait a second,
annoying.
Paul. Take a look at that Magic Archer doing so much work, putting the left-hand tower. Oh my gosh, it's about to be down as we move to the end of the match. Stealing victory in the final seconds. Looks like Misfits.
And now as we get into our second game.
Game number 2 of set number 1. Will ALG get it back, or will Misfits close out the first set and take that all-important advantage?
I think Misfits definitely has the potential to do it here, riding off of this momentum. We're seeing some slight changes to the decks coming up. I like this. I like the fact that they're going to change things up. They're going to keep things moving. They don't want to pin themselves down and allow ALG to get the read on them.
A reminder of your ban cards, Fireball and Poison, both off the board for the entire 2v2 set.
Removing Poison, such a smart pick here. Poison gets so much value. All the troops on the board here with 2v2. So much elixir just out there on the field, and Poison is going to get so much value, ticking it away, shredding those health bars.
Inferno Dragon gets beat by the bats, but now the Giant Skeleton all the way into enemy territory for Misfits.
And now we see the freeze coming in as well as that graveyard. This is massive. They're trying to get the push in. So far, though, the tower is actually not taking a whole lot of damage. That was a beautiful defense coming in there from Misfits. The Lava Hound just really not able to do a whole lot there. The pups cleaned up with ease despite the graveyard freeze combo coming out. That was a beautiful save.
That Dark Goblin in the back was a huge support. You had the Valkyrie cannon card up front, but it was that Dark Goblin that really did a great job getting those skeletons away from the tower.
Well, it's funny because Donkey Kong is so known for his big pushes here, especially with Golem. I figured maybe we'd see that here as well, because Doberman is also known for his graveyard play. So I thought maybe we'll see some of these traditional decks we've been seeing in 2v2, but no, instead we're going with the Lava Hound. The graveyard is staying the same.
Ice Wiz on the board, another splash card, and we've seen more splash cards, a little less single target stuff in these 2v2 matches.
I mean, AoE, Area of Effect, just has so much value when you're dropping so many more minions on the board. I mean, you talk about Swarm, having all these troops out there, you can just take them all down in an instant, you save on resources, you can move forward, take more and more and more elixir.
We are now moving into double elixir time, and it is pretty close. The left tower for ALG down to 1673, and they are now getting some of that damage back on the left tower of Misfits.
Misfits looking a lot more confident in this set, though, I must say. They're definitely looking a little less flustered than we saw them perhaps on the first day here in the 2v2. They're playing a little bit more conservatively, finding those openings where they can, and it's great plays like this. The second that Dark Goblin spawns, instantly being logged out. Look at the way they're controlling the tempo. +1 elixir trade with that log on the Dark Goblin. And now again the Giant Skeleton. Will we see a big spell, or now we get that double aerial or that double distance attack on the Valkyrie, trying to make room. If you can get that Giant Skelly all the way to the tower, there is so much damage to be done, and it is right there, folks. Oh, this is huge. That tornado was absolutely massive. Pulling back the Giant Skeleton. He cannot get in range. The bomb will almost be enough to take it down all by itself. Not in range. That tornado was massive, Rich.
We are in sudden death overtime, and ALG making probably the play of the game, keeping that Giant Skeleton and his death bomb off the tower.
They need to keep the Giant Skeleton away, but we are seeing the Witch here in the back looking to clean up this graveyard once again. Will they commit to the freeze push as well? I don't think so. I think they're going to clean that up pretty easily here. The Lava Hound is going to get shredded as well. That was a better defense this time from ALG.
A big spell drop for Misfits. Now the left-hand tower of Allegiance down to 810 hit points.
Both of these teams going to look to reset a little bit, maybe slow things down. Cannon Cart's going to come out, but neither side overcommitting. Interesting placement, though, as well on that tombstone all the way in the back.
Well, again, I think he might be anticipating the graveyard once again, and every one of those skeletons gets in there and just creates one more piece of barrier to prevent that damage, and here we go.
Great point, Rich. And of course, this is game, if this goes in favor of Misfits, they will take this 2-0 here, as the tower is getting so low. The freeze is doing its work, but the Dark Goblin cleaning that up once again. But the chip damage is slowly wearing it down. Allegiance has their back against the wall.
And there is the lightning taking the tower down into small spell range.
There's
the log cycle.
Friendly metas. But we'll see here, because of course Royal Hog has been such a staple in so many of these decks. It's so aggressive, and it begets amazing, comprehensive, aggressive play, cycling through, getting those split pushes in, getting that pressure on the bridge in. So, I don't know. We'll see here.
That one guy looking to rebound from the unfortunate events of the other day where there was some controversy regarding that loss, but he's a stalwart player with a strong mind, looking here to get the victory.
I mean, if he's feeling comfortable, he's going to go off. He made some individually incredible mechanical plays, some of the best Ice Golem placement I have ever seen. The guy is just a beast. He knows it too. He just needs to keep his confidence up, not let anything rattle him, and we're going to see some amazing play out of him. But ALG Lupanji, he's saying, look, I'm just going to start to win this game in the very start. But right now, look at this tower. Rich, it's already almost gone.
Lupanji banning the Valkyrie, and we see the Royal Hogs. Might we see them playing Royal Hogs 3M? We saw this, a very similar deck, maybe the same deck earlier today.
It's very possible here. I would not be surprised to see the 3M come out as well. And that one guy needs to be careful here, because already Lupanji has essentially drawn first blood when you look at that right-hand Princess Tower. Both players running the Zappies. Zappy's a card we've been seeing a lot more of recently.
As we move closer to double elixir time, that one guy with the Lumberjack and the Magic Archer on the board, quite possibly showing Golem as one of those two cards in his hand.
It's definitely a possibility you're having a strong beatdown presence. The Royal Hog, though, actually coming in as well. So double Royal Hogs being played here for both sides. This card is just so able to dish out that damage. But one of the great responses when you don't have Valkyrie is that Hunter.
Hunter's a really versatile card, because not only can you use it to get some splash damage, get a lot of small troops down, but when it gets right up close to a big troop, it can actually be a counter from some tanks.
And the Bomb Tower is here to try and deny that Royal Hog pressure. It's interesting how both players said, look, Valkyrie's not on the board, but we're going to deal with Royal Hogs in our own way. You know, that one guy said, I'm going to try and pull out the Bomb Tower, whereas Lupanji said, I'm going to pull out the Hunter. Two different responses to the same question, and I think it's working a little better for Lupanji.
Lupanji and double elixir time now very far ahead. Both towers under 1,000 for that one guy, and the Magic Archer gets fireballed in the back.
That was absolutely huge. This left-hand tower is getting so low. Beautiful counter fireball, though. But that one lone Royal Hog is chipping away. Both of the towers for that one guy are getting oh so low. With only 30 seconds left remaining in regulation time. This is looking dire.
And there we go. We thought it was going to be the case. The 3M in the back. Going to be really difficult to counter right now for that one guy.
That one guy just playing up the bomb tower, looking to turtle a little bit, dropping those Royal Hogs, but I'm not sure they're really going to get a whole lot of value. There's so much on the board right now for Lupanji, having this push coming in. Oh man, and that left-hand tower, it's within spell cycle range. He just needs to get a few more hits. It's oh so low.
Doesn't even need a cycle, really, just needs to get back to the fireball. As soon as it's in his hand, this is going to be game over.
That is going to be it, and I think that one guy knows that the Royal Hogs are going to come in, seal the deal for good measure. He's going to try and hold on as long as he can, but I don't think there's much he can do.
And there it is of the 1v1 set.
Let's get into it here. Game number 2. That one guy back against the wall, down 0-1. We'll see what they do here. Lupanji instantly going to be dropping down those zappies. I like the fact these players just getting right into these games. We see often, a lot of times, players just sitting on that initial elixir, but these guys, they just want to play.
We have not seen a 2-minute stall yet here at CRL, and those of you who like action, that's a good news.
That is good news indeed. The Tombstone slowly get a win on the way there. The zappies can clean that right up. We do see a mortar coming out now for that one guy.
With those small cards, looks like mortar cycle is a distinctive possibility, but again, Lupanji going with those Royal Hogs.
The Royal Hogs here already getting a little bit of initial chip damage, though a much nicer hold for that one guy this time around. I think he's got the read on Lupanji a little bit more here.
Lupanji possibly showing the same deck one more time, so that one guy potentially planning to see those 3 Ms in late game.
It's definitely a possibility here, as I believe it is the same deck we saw there in game number 1. If it ain't broke, don't fix this. I love it. Lupanji is saying, hey, that one guy, answer me. Come up with a solution to this. Fix the problem, and maybe that one guy has found that solution.
Yeah, notice that one guy so far has shown 2 different buildings, both providing nice distraction for those Royal Hogs, especially with the split push in the middle.
I like this. The fireball going in immediately to deal with that 3M. That's the risk of playing it all together, of course, is it can instantly be fireballed, cleaned up. That was a great trade there for that one guy.
That one guy running the mortar cycle, running Siege way from the back. Personally, I love playing Siege as an Expo player, and this is great to see.
You and your Expo. This time around, it's going to be the mortars slowly going to be looking to chip away here. And speaking of chip, only maybe 100 damage has been done to both these towers to start this game, heading into double elixir time. This is uncommon.
And now it's Lupanji leaking a little bit of elixir here. Potentially could come back to bite him, and now we see the final card for that one guy, the Inferno Dragon.
Inferno Dragon is coming out here. Interesting to see how this is going to fit with the rest of his deck in the situation. Push in there. There's not a... The Zappies are going to clean this up fairly easily when they do get in range, so this is an interesting choice for him.
Well, Inferno Dragon partially functioned as a cycle card in that moment, but also I think he saw the Hunter play to the left lane and wanted to put something there to prevent the Hunter from getting through and helping that left-hand side.
It was definitely big there, as the mortar is still going to be able to fire because of that. Speaking of fire, those fire spirits charging down the right-hand side as well. But neither one of these players really has a huge advantage here as we approach this final overtime position right now. The mortar, once again, going to get cleaned up a lot quicker this time, though. I may have spoken too soon. No, it is going to drop. Now the Royal Hogs finally finishing that thing off, but a great log to clean up those Hogs.
Look at how fast that one guy is cycling the mortar through, and that's how you have to play this kind of deck. Now, interesting, for those of you who are Expo, also Siege players, a lot of people play the Expo with the Tesla, so the Tesla takes some heat off the Expo. Here we see the Tombstone taking some heat off of the mortar.
But yeah, there's definitely some heat on the mortar here as the fireball goes in, helps clean up those Hogs. I love this. They've identified the Hogs as the key component of Lupanji's deck. Every single time those are played, there's instantly a response from that one guy. But he's playing defensive. It's sort of the nature of Siege here. I'm wondering how he's actually going to win this game.
We are in sudden death overtime so far, somewhat of a stalemate. It's going to be a question of who's the first person to blink, who's the first to make a mistake. So far, both guys playing pretty much clean, perfect games.
As perfect as they can get right now, we're finally starting to see some real damage come through on the towers of that one guy. But still, it's a scratch right now. It's a scratch. These towers still have so much HP. We only have 2 minutes remaining.
Well, the real question for Lupanji is how often can he get that fireball out of cycle, whether it's for the 3M, for those 3 Musketeers, or it's for the Royal Hogs. That one guy wants to use that card on either one of those pairs, and by having them both on the board really makes things difficult.
able to connect with one Royal Hog and one Musketeer in that situation, but now the right-hand tower is getting oh so low. This might be it. The Musketeers are there. The Bats as well, trying to take down this right-hand tower. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. It's getting oh so low, so close. No beautiful tombstone placement to clean that up.
The right-hand tower for that one guy in danger, under 400 hit points. Can he hold it off and mount a comeback?
The Inferno Dragon is there trying to hold this. The log is going to roll on through as well. So look, the cycle is there is going to be a potential fireball play coming in soon. One more auto. There it is. They're lonesome. Lupanji is looking to be that player here, but can Misfits rally?
Set number 3 on its way. Lupanji at the bottom of your screen, Jose LC at the top in the red.
Both of these players starting off a little bit more passively here. Lupanji, of course, is going to have to play something other than Royal Hogs in the setup here. He has shown 3M. Now that the Ram is coming out, probably going to see a Ram E-Wiz 3M spot cycle. I would imagine the cannon cart here, still a lot of options behind that.
We could see some bridge spam, the cannon cart, and there we have the Mega Minion. Are we seeing Golem coming from Jose LC?
It's definitely a possibility here. It's interesting to note here that Jose LC also loves to run 3 Musketeers, so we'll see if maybe that's something we'll see from him, but the Poison's actually going down. Interesting.
Poison taking care of the Zappies on the left side, and now, yep, it's looking like bridge spam for Lupanji, and the Bandit gets a charge, but oh no, there is the Tornado activating the King Tower. That is huge.
Tactically taking that shot there on the right Princess Tower, all just to bait it on in, activating that King Tower. That, of course, is crucial here on the defense. Jose LC is going to be able to spend a little bit less elixir to defend these pushes.
A little more spam on the bridge for Lupanji, but nice defense for Jose LC. We've seen the Night Witch now. It really is looking like that next card could be a Golem.
Could be a Golem indeed. We'll see how this plays out now. But, of course, Jose LC is really yet to unveil his sort of key win condition here. We'll see how he responds going in now. Neither side really wants to overcommit here at this stage of the game. Look like they're playing out for double elixir.
Hitting 10, putting the Baby Dragon behind the tower. Jose LC, are we about to see the big card? Waiting here a moment to make some sort of reaction. The Poison deep in the territory of his opponent.
Now he's just going to continue to play defense here. The nice, once again, the Tornado coming in, going to be stopping the charge there with the Ram. Flying Machine getting pretty good damage on the left-hand tower, but really Jose LC is strictly playing defense.
Giving up a lot of damage early as we get near and into double elixir time. Both towers under 1,700. And there we see the Golem in the back, the Golem NATO control in DE time. This is where this deck can really shine.
Here we go, finally seeing the Golem come out. The big pushes here. The P.E.K.K.A. in response, though, from Lupanji. He's already done a lot of that early game initial chip damage, but now Jose LC is going to go for the jugular. He's going to go for the win.
Smart move by Lupanji, playing the Bandit in the opposite lane, forcing some elixir to be spent there and not have everything supporting that Golem push.
The Golem is now coming in. The splash damage not quite there, connecting onto the tower. The 2 little Golems are going to be starting to hit away, though. We do have the E-Wiz in the back redirecting those key targets, but still a lot of damage on this right-hand tower. This is Lupanji coming online.
Jose LC taking the right tower down to under 1,200. While he does have the lead on the deepest tower hits, he still has both of his towers in significant danger as we go into sudden death.
Lupanji here just needs to find one opening in order to take down either one of these towers. The Golem is pushing in on the right, but so far not really overly protected. We do have the cannon cart in the back giving some additional pressure, but I don't think he wants to overcommit on this push. I like this decision from Jose LC. He realizes, look, I don't have the cycle to really continue with this. Let's just reset.
Well, part of that is Lupanji playing very smart and putting some troops in the left-hand lane, forcing Jose to make decisions and not have enough elixir to spend on that push on the right-hand side.
I love this too. Lupanji keeping up that split pressure because, as you say, he's forcing the response now from Jose. Jose cannot continue to back up these crucial pushes. And this also just gives Lupanji a few more options. Oh no, actually Bandit connects there with the fireball as well. That was actually massive. Maybe a slight misplay there from Jose.
A huge play on the left-hand side. I was about to tell you that Jose LC was ahead evenly on both towers, but then Lupanji out of nowhere taking huge bites out of the left-hand tower.
But now we do see the Golem once again in return here. It is pushing in onto the tower. The P.E.K.K.A. is ripping through those mini Golems. He's got to walk all the way back, getting one more swing in there. But look at how low these 2 towers through Lupanji is getting. Jose LC is going dead even.
So very close. Excellent tornado play from Jose LC. just holding things back on the right-hand side, but the Bandit almost getting the lock on the left-hand tower. Great play of the Nightwish.
The P.E.K.K.A. not going to get the connection, activating that King Tower early, shutting down that P.E.K.K.A. That was actually huge, and not getting that, but that is...
And it's the Frenchman against the Spaniard. Reggae at the top of your screen, Lupanji at the bottom for this next match of King of the Hill.
Once again, the Zappies are coming down. Lupanji been playing these, I'm pretty sure, in every single deck. In the hands of a skill player, they can do so much work, slowing down, redirecting value, especially the big move down decks.
And there's the Dart Goblin for Reggae, not getting much chance to work so far, showing a potential bait deck.
Showing the potential bait here, I like this. Reggae needs to pull out something different, something Lupanji hasn't contended with yet today. We are seeing the Goblin gang here, so there's definitely a possibility. Leaking a little bit of Elixir, though, the Flying Machine coming in. Feels like a very similar deck here from Lupanji.
And now we have the P.E.K.K.A. stopping the Ram in its tracks. And look, you get the Royal Ghost down, but that thing is see-through. The Bandit getting the charge on the left-hand tower.
That was absolutely massive now, pulling the P.E.K.K.A. into the mid as well. The Royal Ghost, though, is going to pull through and connect in the Ram here as well. A big push being mounted for Reggae. The log is there to try and slow this down, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Does he have the answer? That Zappy's getting so much value, but yes, the Ram is going to connect. And following up, wow, this is Lupanji in big trouble.
One Zappy just isn't enough, and there you go. Reggae taking the lead on that left tower, getting it down to just 560 as we reach the midway point in regulation time.
I love this. Reggae deciding, look, I need to play aggressive against Lupanji. I cannot allow this guy to play his own game. I cannot allow him to control the tempo. I need to be the one to set the pace, and that is exactly what he is doing right here, constantly forcing Lupanji to respond. This is how you shut down a champion.
A very cheeky Dart Goblin looking to sneak through for Reggae, but it gets answered, although at a cost, by Lupanji with the Electro Wizard.
You see the lightning coming in, which allows the Baby Dragon to get the shots. 1 HP remaining on that tower, which means that at any time it can be cleaned up here by Reggae. This is massive. Lupanji on the backstep.
It looks like we might end up with the trade. 50 seconds left in regulation and double elixir time. Most likely Lupanji gets that left tower down. The Zap getting rid of the left tower for Reggae, and now we are just 30, 40 seconds remaining before sudden death.
For sudden death, indeed. I believe that left tower is going to go down here for Reggae, barring some extreme circumstances, which means it's time for Lupanji to start looking towards the right. Both players here need to deal with this. There's the log, fireball and log one more time through. Will clean that up. So it is now up to both players to look at this other Princess Tower.
But only 15 seconds left. Lupanji needs to get that fireball log down. Fireball down. I think he'll be in good shape here. It looked for a moment like Reggae was trying to bait the log out on the right-hand side. Lupanji didn't take the bait. He's a little bit down going into our sudden death overtime, but playing smart like a champion does.
Playing smart, not falling for the bait here. The P.E.K.K.A.s are going to town, swinging away, but this is a big push in the right-hand lane. The Ram does connect the fireball, trying to clean this up, but a beautiful hold so far. The P.E.K.K.A. can it get the one swing it needs to? No, the Electro Wizard going clutch there on the defense.
But that was still a huge sequence for Reggae, using that P.E.K.K.A. as a little bit of a tank, little distraction so we could sneak that Ram through and get the huge charge damage.
That was massive. That Ram getting so much value there for Reggae, putting so much elixir on the board, but it was paying dividends.
And we are now 30 seconds, 35 seconds into sudden death overtime. Dueling P.E.K.K.A.s on the board. It looks like Lupanji's might not get across the river, but with the support from the Zappies, he's making it into enemy territory.
Making it right in. That was perfect positioning. Putting that second P.E.K.K.A. from Reggae a little bit further back, baiting the P.E.K.K.A. for Lupanji over the bridge, which now means the push is coming in. The Royal Ghost not able to get that key hit. The Ram instantly getting denied. This Baby Dragon in the back, splashing away. The Bandit there on the left, cleaning that up, swiping all over the place.
I was expecting the Ram in that moment behind the P.E.K.K.A. for Reggae, but it didn't last long enough. He sees the Zappies, making the good choice not to play in that moment.
But here we go, the aggressive play now from Lupanji. The P.E.K.K.A. is there smashing away. We do see the Zap nicely done. Going to continue to give that P.E.K.K.A. for Reggae even more steam as it rolls across the bridge.
We now have just a minute 30 left before the match is over. Remember, we do have big spells from both players. And there we go, the lightning coming down on the right-hand tower. Could Reggae be a hero and take out the European champion?
That was absolutely huge. The clutch save from the Panji. Reggae is trying to do it. He's trying to take him down. This is oh so close. Less than 300 HP for this tower right now. Cycling through a few spells will be enough to do it, but this is going to be so tough for Regu.
Regu, very far ahead, needs to play defense here and find an opening to get some big spells down on that right-hand tower. Now the Bandit making it through, getting his tower down to 807 hit points as we have less than a minute left in this match.
This is where players can choke. They see an opening, they think, look, I can do this, guys. I can go in, but hang on the gun!
Head-to-head right now, Reggae versus Doberman.
Let's see if Doberman can pull it out here, bring his team up 2 games to 1, put them in position to be only 1 game away from taking this series. The Royal Ghost is being dropped here. For Reggae, both these players looking to cycle, get a feel for what the opponent is playing.
Doberman with the Mega Minion in the back, but the Ghost will go right on by, and yes, get on the King Tower.
There it is.
That's that Tornado. Great play, activation by Doberman. That could play a huge role as this match goes forward.
We saw it last time. Reggae was able to get that key pull off on that King Tower, but then we see what happens. It was so critical in that defense. Now we see the Hog coming in as well. The 2 swings from the P.E.K.K.A. will shut that down. 1 swing will get through, but that's all right. This P.E.K.K.A. key for shutting down that Hog.
Great Tornado play, both players still, oh, there we go, the Kite, the Ice Golem, perfectly positioned, and I do like the idea of the Cannon Cart there, played a little bit high, forcing Doberman to put the Ice Wizard on the board as well.
That was actually huge. The Bandit is going to shred through that with the help of the P.E.K.K.A. We do actually see the Ice Golem uncharacteristically actually getting a hit on a tower.
Yeah, that was strange. Reggae now taking advantage, I think, of that elixir lead that he built by the slight error in Cannon Cart placement by Doberman.
At this level of play, putting 1 tile out of position is enough there to spell disaster. We now see the push coming in. The Miner is there with the minions, going to clean up with the Fireball, so it is going to be Miner poison here from Reggae. Going to be chipping away here in this early game. He needs to build up that lead, though, heading into DE time.
And we get 1 swing from the P.E.K.K.A., the second one before, and there you go. That's perfect P.E.K.K.A. placement. Able to get both hits and deny any hit on the tower by that Hog Rider.
Timing frame perfect there on that P.E.K.K.A. That is incredibly hard to do. Oh, a beautiful placement on that Ice Golem once again. Both of these players showing off incredible individual mechanical prowess.
And almost getting across the bridge, getting the tower, is that Cannon Cart, but the Bandit getting there just in time. Cannon Cart stymied.
Rich, we are watching a clinic right now. Both of these players are putting on an incredible showing in Clash Royale.
Doberman certainly tightening up his game since that 1 error, and now putting himself back in contention. But look at the left tower of Doberman, down to 1502. Reggae really showing off right now.
Reggae chipping away at the structures of Doberman, finding those openings here, split pushing like a champ. This Royal Ghost has been pivotal, able to just sneak right through the defense when left on its own.
And there's a great job, the Royal Ghost stopping the Ice Wiz, forcing the Cannon Cart to take damage from the poison.
That was absolutely huge. Now the P.E.K.K.A. is there, not cool. Oh, perfect positioning on that once again. That was absolutely massive. The Bandit is going in. The Cannon Cart going to look to shut this down, but the P.E.K.K.A. is there. Great positioning on those minions as well. This is a solid push from Reggae.
Reggae is totally in the zone, dialed in right now. It's going to take everything Doberman has to overcome.
It is indeed, as the Miner is going in the back once more. This Miner is going to be key to the win here for Reggae, constantly cycling this through. Is the P.E.K.K.A. going to be there? Yes, it is, every single time.
We are in sudden death overtime. Doberman cannot afford even the slightest slip-up. That could mean the end of his night and putting his team on the brink of the loss.
Barely any damage done to the towers of Reggae. He is in a phenomenal position, pulling back once again. That Miner just trying to deny that additional chip damage. Great positioning, though, on that Hog, distracting the P.E.K.K.A. for just a moment, and it's actually going to get some key hits, but no!
And we are off. Will Misfits close this thing up, Reggae being the hero for his team? Or will Donkey Kong force one more match?
You always want to be the one to take down all 3 of your opponents. You're the hero your team deserves, and that is exactly what Reggae is trying to do right now. Both teams just cycling through the logs, seeing like some pretty standard decks here coming very similar to what we saw in the last game.
Low-cost cards. We see the cannon cart now coming out for Reggae. And this is smart. We've seen a lot of players play the exact same deck after a win. He switches it up, not giving Donkey Kong the chance to respond to what he already saw.
I like this because, of course, coming in, your opponent's deck, you say, okay, I'm putting myself into a favorable matchup here. Of course, there's the expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at a certain point, you have to switch it up because you will get countered.
Remember those ban cards, Valkyrie and Royal Hogs, both off the board for the duration of this game. So now we're seeing minor poison from Reggae, and we see the Ram. We see the Ram now, the Bandit, Ice Golem, Minions, another fast deck for Donkey Kong.
Another fast deck indeed. We are seeing the minor poison coming in once again here from Reggae. Still some comfort, but he's switching up the rest of it. The fundamentals are still there in terms of that combo, the minor poison, but the box it's put in is a little bit different.
Now the big question, is that last card going to be the Three Musketeers paired with that Ram? And do you really see a great response? Other than poison, not a lot of great responses for Reggae.
Yeah, sort of not going to have that fireball to shut that down initially like you really wanted. But look, speaking of shutting down, this left-hand tower is being left to its own devices right now. The E-Wiz is there, but oh my, so much damage. The charge connects. That's going to be the tower. Donkey Kong drawing blood.
You can see Reggae kind of shaking his head there, knowing he made the mistake. You can't do that against a guy like Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong is just too good. He's just too experienced. But now the question I have for you, Rich, in this position, do you just keep going in for the win, or do you just totally turtle up and play defense if you're Donkey Kong?
No, if you're Donkey Kong, I think you gotta keep the pressure on. You still have a fairly fast deck for Reggae and 50 seconds to play. Minor poison down. That left tower is going to be in significant danger as we get into the final seconds of this match.
Minor poison on its own does so much damage. I agree. You need to keep up the aggression. You need to look towards this right-hand Princess Tower. Take it down for good measure. Secure yourself the win, and here comes the push.
There's a massive spam forcing the log out. It's going to do a little bit of work, but it could be the Ram getting on the tower, and it is. When it rains, it pours, and here is Donkey Kong pouring it on.
Oh man, Reggae is in a rough spot right now. The miner does come in the back left-hand side. The E-Wiz is there as well. Great position on those minions to clean that up. But this tower is still relatively healthy. Can it survive for 10 more seconds? Rich, I think it might.
800 left, 5 seconds down. We don't see anything, and there you go, Reggae.
We'll see if he can do it here. The final game, Misfits Allegiance, the winner of this one game, will take the victory here for both of these squads. The two anchors are in position, looking to carry their teams.
Miner doing a little bit of damage on the right-hand tower. Royal Ghost stops, and we're going to see Ghost by Ghost, two ships passing in the night.
Yes, indeed. Oh, hello, dear friend. Oh, but the E-Wiz is looking to join in the fray right now. The Lightning coming down, a card we've more traditionally seen, or of late, in 2v2.
Donkey Kong showing bridge spam early. That one guy putting the Goblin Gang down and possibly baiting out that log for something interesting.
Possibly baiting out here. Both of these players keeping the last few cards close to the chest right now. We have seen Donkey Kong play some solid aggressive decks. He's pulling out the miner once again, keeping that pressure up, and here comes the P.E.K.K.A. to clean it up.
P.E.K.K.A. making short work of that miner, face-to-face, no chance, and now we see P.E.K.K.A. on the other side for Donkey Kong.
Putting it further back, pulling the P.E.K.K.A. for that one guy over the bridge. The tower's going to start connecting. The E-Wiz is there as well, but the Dark Goblin in the back can be making this relatively even.
That Dark Goblin just can chip you down so quickly if it doesn't get handled early on.
Spooky Ghost is here as well to continue augmenting this push. Oh, I love this. There goes the log on the left-hand side, pushing back the Ram, which is now charging through for that one guy.
What a beautiful play with the Ram, kiting both the P.E.K.K.A. and the Royal Ghost across the front of that one guy's territory.
That's the thing. That one guy has some of the best kite plays I have seen yet in this tournament. His Ice Golem placement, and now we see it again with the Ram. This guy knows exactly how to distract your troops and negate their ability to push.
Both players sitting on one card remaining. Who will show their hand first as we move into double elixir time?
Double elixir time. Now things are about to get a lot more interesting. Double the fun here. As you see the Dark Goblin and the Ghost pushing in. There is the final component. The poison is there to clean this up. So minor poison once again coming in from Donkey Kong. A tried and true here in this final series.
What's that guy, one guy holding on to? Could possibly be a 3M, could be a second spell.
Could be another spell indeed. Here comes the Ram on the left-hand side. Needs to be cleaned up here by these minions. Perfect positioning on that. It's not going to get through. That's exactly what they need to do.
and the Log being forced to take out that Dart Goblin before it does too much damage. A +1 elixir trade for that one guy.
That's huge, and the Miner in the back now actually left uncontested for a little while, chipping away at this last tower. The gang has been dropped to clean it up. The P.E.K.K.A. is charging across the bridge from that one guy, but great control from Donkey Kong. He's trading a little bit better here in these back and forth skirmishes.
And a lot of stuff distracting. Can the Ram get through? It will not. The Log play, expert from Donkey Kong.
A perfect defense there from Donkey Kong. Not 1 HP of damage going to that Princess Tower. As you see the Dark Goblin following the charge from the Bandit is there. But now this might be the time. This might be the moment for that one guy to push across. But no, beautiful hold here from Donkey Kong.
This is it, folks. We are in sudden death in the final game. If you don't hold on to your tower, that is it. And on the right-hand side now, under 1,000 is that one guy's, now almost under 800, that one guy's right-hand tower.
Hold on to your tower. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your phones. This is going absolutely off right now. Both of these players are playing at the highest caliber level right now, as we are seeing the push coming in once more from Donkey Kong. The poison is there. Keep in mind the poison is going to be pivotal, but there's still one card we're waiting to see from that one guy.
P.E.K.K.A. doesn't make it to the tower, but the damage is done, down to 610 on the right-hand side for that one guy, but building a counter push. Will we see the Ram? There it is. Can it sneak through? And look, the Royal Ghost distracting a little bit, but again, it's the Log. The Ram just can't get all the way to the tower.
Those minions are doing so much work. They deserve a raise right now because they have done so much. Oh, here comes the Ewas. The drop is there as well. Instantly getting cleaned up, though. Turning around, Royal Ghost on Ghost action. Donkey Kong has been playing like an absolute monster. These holds are inhuman.
So many pushes for that one guy, nearly getting there. Now the Miner all the way through. It looks like Miner Poison is about to close this thing out.
So very close. 2 poisons is all it's going to take down that tower. That one guy is on a timer right now, and that is going to be it. That is going to be